Hi, it's Lucy here, and I'm so excited to show you these dies I've just chosen from Life's Craft Art. I couldn't wait to start creating with these. I also couldn't resist reusing a couple of background dies you've seen me use before. These two are old favourites, and since I've got a wedding coming up, I couldn't resist making a couple of wedding cards with them. I didn't film the process this time for these two. You've already watched me create with these ones, but here's the two cards I made, and I'll share them in more detail at the end. And before we start creating, here's a quick look at the rest of the 18 cards I've made. If you'd rather be surprised and don't want a sneak peek, just look away for a second. In my last video, lots of you said you enjoy seeing everything up front, so I'll try to do that from now on. And these are easy designs to recreate, and you can use what's in your stash as well. I'll have everything listed in case you're interested in what products I've used. And these dies are so affordable, and I also have a huge discount for you. But first, let's get started with some card making. I've added a gorgeous purple and gold PET tape straight to the card front. I needed 2 strips to cover the panels, so I simply butted them up against each other, and you can see the join at this stage, but once the frame goes on, it completely disappears. And this die cuts out 3 little rectangles, and there are just so many different ideas you could create with it. I ended up making 5 cards using this die today. I couldn't stop, but I think it would look amazing adding 3 different coloured cardstocks into each rectangle as well. Kind of a colour block look, really modern and fun. I've already die cut the butterfly piece for this card, but I'll show you how to do it when we move on to the next card. To finish this one off, all it really needs is a matching gold sentiment and a few gold pearls for that extra sparkle. I'm loving the marble look behind the butterflies. What do you think? And now I'll show you this card right from the start. I've cut a piece of white card the same size as my card front, and I'm placing the butterfly die in the center, but just a little closer to the top. With intricate dies like this, it helps to use a shim. Just a scrap of paper will do, but it just gives that extra bit of pressure, but don't over tighten your machine. I like to run it through twice, and if it still doesn't cut all the way through, I simply flip the cutting plates over so the die cut side faces upwards, and that usually gives a really clean cut and finishes it off. And next I grab my die release tool, or as I like to call it, my pokey tool, to pop out all those tiny pieces. And this die is just $4.42 US, or under $7 Australian with my discount code. And for the background, I'm using some long stickers. They're such a fun shortcut. They give the look of a watercolored background, but it literally takes a minute to pop down the 3 stickers. I'll add the white front piece with double-sided tape. I've also die cut the butterfly frame from a muted gold glitter paper so I can trim around the butterflies and layer them on top of the white ones. And I just glued down their bodies, never the wings. I always want butterflies to look like they could just flutter off the card. And finally, I'm adding a white pearl to each butterfly's body. Even though these pearls are adhesive, glitter paper can be really tricky to adhere anything to, so a dab of glue makes sure they stay put. And then a matching gold sentiment finishes it all off. It's so simple, but it's so pretty, I think. You could definitely stamp sentiments instead of die cutting if that's your style. I just personally love the look of a die cut sentiment. I'm going to use this butterfly die again. You can tell I love it, can't you? But this time I've switched up the background. I've added some script washi tape, and then I'm going to layer a few flower stickers over the top. And this sticker pack that I'm using has both floral borders and single flowers, and I'll be using a mix of both for this one. I like to be a little thrifty with the borders. I'll trim off any parts that won't be seen and save those pieces for other cards, or even for the inside of the card or the envelope. Nothing goes to waste. And for the frame, I've die cut it from a lovely burgundy cardstock as well. And the butterflies in the frame aren't complete cuts, but I'll show you how I just snip around the wings. I don't think it really matters that they aren't perfectly symmetrical once the card is finished. They still look beautiful. And I'm using my fussy cutting scissors from Uniquely Creative, and I have some good news for my friends in the US. I've now found a US stockist that carries these scissors along with around 300 Uniquely Creative products, so I think that's going to really help with shipping. I'll link that store in the description box below. And then to finish, I'm adding 2 flower stickers to each end of the frame for a slightly different look. And an alternative to using pearls is some Nuvo drops. So I'm going to do that on the butterfly bodies here. I feel like they always need a little something on these butterfly bodies. And a little tip is after placing the drops, I give the card a gentle tap on top of the Nuvo bottle. And this helps the drops settle into a really nice rounded shape. And that's this card done. I think it has a more of a vintage feel, don't you? This time I'm using some brown watercolor style stickers behind the butterfly frame. I had so much fun experimenting with different stickers for this die. I honestly could have kept going and made a whole stack of cards with it. I do still have a few other butterfly dies I haven't tried yet actually, so let me know if you'd like to see a video where I create with a bunch of different butterfly designs. And then for this card I only needed 2 stickers from the pack, and then I added a few glitter butterflies again along with the same sentiment, and just like that, here's another pretty version of this design. Onto the last card using this butterfly die. I wanted to try something a little different, a black frame this time with some fresh bright colours behind it. I thought that contrast would really pop, so I chose these sticker strips for the background. And I've lightly penciled in where the strips need to go so I know exactly where to place them. And don't worry, the pencil lines won't show once the card is finished, and if they do peek through a little, they honestly just look like part of the design. Of course, you can always erase them before adding your stickers if you prefer. I'm alternating the strips, and also I'm mixing up the pieces a bit so they don't all look the same. So I'm adding the bottom of some of the tapes and then also the top of some of the others. And then to finish it off, I added some teal Nuvo drops for the butterflies' bodies and a silver glitter die cut sentiment. So that's another version of this card done. What do you think? Do you have a favorite from these butterfly cards so far? Should we try a different die? Let's go. I'm really loving this next die too, and for this first card I've die cut the frame from both white and gold cardstock, and I'm pairing it with some beautiful blue flower stickers. I've got a piece of white card that's slightly larger than the die frame, and that's where I'll build the background with my stickers. And I popped one down and realized there was a bit too much white space at the bottom, but at this stage, if you're careful, you can gently peel them back and reposition them. But just keep in mind that these do stick permanently after a while, so it's best to adjust right away. And for the card base, I'm using my wide 4-inch 10cm double-sided tape. It's so handy for creating fun paper pieced backgrounds like this. I'll add down the frame first and then the skinny inserts and flower pieces. And by the way, all the stickers and washi tapes I'm using today are from Journal Say. I've got an 8% discount code for you. Just use Lucy Patrick, all one word, at checkout. It even works during sales, and right now they've got a huge 50% off sale plus free shipping worldwide on orders over $29 US. And Life's Craft Art also offer free worldwide shipping over $29 US, and I've got a really special 25% discount just for my viewers. If you click any of the links in the description box, a pop-up will appear asking if you'd like to use my discount. Just hit apply and it's all done for you. And this is where you will find all of these dies that I'm using today, apart from the sentiment dies. At first I wasn't totally happy with how this one looked, so I experimented with some blue background shades, but that didn't quite work either. And in the end I wasn't happy with the white frame and gold skinny inserts, so I switched it around. I glued the gold frame over the top and swapped in white skinny inserts instead. And that simple change gave the card so much more appeal. Would you agree with me, or did you prefer the first way? I'd love to know. To keep my top flowers sticker even, I've popped a little piece of white card underneath it so it doesn't dip into that center rectangle. And I finished this one with a sentiment I've had in my stash for ages. I popped that up on foam tape and I decorated the inside with the leftover half of a sticker. And here are 2 more versions I made off camera. For one, I added lilac flowers underneath the frame the same way, but I skipped the skinny insert so more of the flowers could show through. I'll mention more about some of the cards at the end. I used some old pattern paper for this card and just a simple sentiment. For one last card with this die, I used a gold marble PET tape, the same style as the purple one I used earlier, and I added 2 strips of it to white card, butting them up against each other. The excess strip will be used on my next card. And another option for all background frame dies is to double up the frame layer for extra depth. You can use 2 or 3 or even 4 layers. It looks really good. When I first popped the frame over the top, I didn't like how obvious the seam looked where the strips joined, so I scrapped that piece for now. I'll use it on another card next because I don't want it to go to waste. And then I redid the marble background, being more mindful of the join this time. And to secure the frame, I used a mix of thin double-sided tape and a little glue, and that way I can wiggle it into place, but once it's dry it stays put. And after that I just trimmed around the outside of the frame. For the finishing touches, I've added a gold die cut sentiment and used the 2 long rectangle die cuts to give a lovely gold border around the white centerpiece. And this card has so much shimmer in real life. I really hope it shows up on camera because it's just beautiful. Now I didn't want to waste that original piece, so I used it to die cut some really pretty little hearts and also the happy birthday die for some funky letters. Let's check out the card. I also added the leftover half strip of tape along the bottom border, and a couple of hearts went onto the card and even onto the envelope to tie it all together. I also brought in an embossing folder, if you can see, for the 2 background pieces for extra texture, and I'll show you which one I used at the end of the video. This next die is a chevron style, and I actually made 2 cards with it off camera using the same purple marble PET from the first card. I added a couple of large flower stickers and a thankful sentiment, perfect for my US friends with Thanksgiving just around the corner. And what I really like about this type of die is that you always get 2 cards from one cut. Since you need to run it through twice, you end up with both a frame and insert, so you can create 2 designs that are opposite but both equally effective. And for this one, I've got 2 large lilac flowers with gold accents that tie in beautifully with the tape. I'm going to mount them onto some white card and cut around them so they become thicker embellishments. I'll cut fairly close to the flower, so I'll be cutting some of the sticker's transparent border off. The cutting doesn't have to be perfect, just try to cut as smooth and close as possible, but leaving a white border is best if you're not confident. I'm not going to worry about cutting the bottom part of the small flower as it'll be hidden under the bigger flower. And if you get sharp little corners once you've finished, just round them off as best you can and they'll look fine. I'll add the smaller flower flat with double-sided tape and glue, and the larger one with thin foam tape so it stands out a bit more. And for the sentiment, I die cut one in gold and placed it across the flower. It does hang over slightly, but it's secure, so no worries there. I'll pop an acrylic block on top while it dries flat. And while that's drying, I'll show you the second version with this die. For this one, I used some bright paint splatter style stickers, which I'll show them near the end of this video. I wasn't quite sure what I'd add to this background, and then I tried one of the large yellow flowers and that works. And since we still have the opposite die cuts to use, I put together another piece and we can create another card here. This time pulling out the peach shade from the sticker colors. I added a thin peach border around the piece, not the whole card base like I did with the yellow one, which is just another option. And for my Aussie viewers, our standard card size is slightly longer than the US A2 size. Sometimes I trim a sliver off the edge to make the frames fit evenly, but I don't always bother. The difference is pretty subtle, but I wanted to share that. And for this peach version, I laid all the flowers with foam tape for extra dimension. The big pink flower only needed a little tape since it overlaps the yellow one that's already raised. I also added half a flower to the side just to show you how it looks when you fill the card with 1, 2 or even 2.5 florals. A simple sentiment finishes it off nicely, and I just popped a little bit of foam tape underneath that too. I'd actually love to try this chevron die with masculine colors one day. I think it would look amazing with darker, moodier tones, maybe some subtle pattern papers. But for now, here are the 4 cards I've made with it, each with a slightly different feel. And then let's just add the other half of that flower to the inside of the card just to have a little decoration in there too. This next die is really intricate, but oh, how lovely is it? It's actually a bit larger than my card fronts, which gives me the option to trim down whichever sides I like. I think it would also go on a larger card, and I will be trying that out in a future video. I added some grey and black watercolour style stickers to white card before die cutting the piece, then layered it onto black shiny paper. And to finish it off, I just added a large sentiment. And for the second card, I used the same style of stickers but in pastel shades, and these are from the same set as well as the brown ones I used on one of the butterfly cards. They have a lovely shimmer running through them, and they almost look like you've painted a watercolor background. And as a final touch, I added a few pastel pink Nuvo drops in the white space for a bit of subtle interest. I would have made these on camera, but since I don't have proper video lighting for nighttime, I couldn't wait until the next day to try out the die. I still wanted to share them with you though, since they're in the same style as the others I've made today. Of course, you could add any sentiment or embellishments you like. These are just 2 simple ideas to show how this beautiful die can be dressed up. So let me quickly run through the few products I actually used in today's video to create these 18 cards. And the first 2 wedding cards were made with just 3 things each: 1 pack of wedding stickers, the frame and sentiment dies, and a piece of gold glitter paper. That's it, so simple. And for the butterfly card, I used the butterfly die along with a PET tape, some gold pearls, and the same sentiment die in gold paper. And this card used script washi tape, floral stickers, burgundy paper, and Nuvo drops. For this one, I added black shiny card, a couple of strips of PET tape, teal Nuvo drops, and a sentiment. And you might remember these stickers from a previous video. This card came together with just the stickers, gold glitter paper, and 3 little pearls. Here's the watercolor sticker pack I used for this card. You'll see the other packs shortly in different colors. And to finish it, I just added gold glitter card, a sentiment die, and Nuvo drops. And I love how versatile the word celebrate is. It works for so many occasions. And next up, the frame die, and I used some flower stickers. I only needed gold and white card and some of the flowers. I've actually used most of these flower stickers up already, even the packaging. Did you watch that video? The yellow packaging is the only one I've got left. I also used some old paper from my stash and a birthday sentiment and shadow die from scrapbook.com for this card, and I'll pop that link below too. The gold card used the same PET tape set as a couple of the purple cards. I used the gold this time along with a sentiment die. The lilac and gold version used the flower stickers again and a sentiment die. And for the rescued card, where I used that unwanted sticker piece, I also ran the backgrounds through a uniquely creative embossing folder to tie it all together. The large sentiment die on top is from Life's Craft Art, like most of the dies I've used today. And with the chevron die, I used more of the large flower packs plus a book of bright PET stickers. And these come pre-cut with all sorts of designs. I used some of the paint splatter ones. These 2 marble style cards used the marble PET tape set and more of the large flowers. And you can buy those as single packs or as bulk sets. Then there's the big mandala style die, which I paired with shiny black paper and watercolor stickers. I also used those same stickers on the pastel version and on another butterfly card. On the pastel one, I added some silver glitter number stickers and a few pink Nuvo drops. These packs are only about $1.49 US for 10 stickers while they're on sale, and the marble tapes are $1.81 US for 2 meters, so they're really affordable. And speaking of great value, these dies I used are from Life's Craft Art, who are part of Coco Rosa, and Coco Rosa has their own in-house designers, so you're getting original designs at really affordable prices. Like the large dies are usually $8.99 US, but with my discount they come down to under $7. How good is that for something that can be used over and over again? You'll find my affiliate links to all the products I've used today in the description box, along with the discount codes for you to use. And using my links is also a free way to support my channel, so thank you so much if you do. And also thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and tap that new hype button if it's available. All of these little actions really help my channel grow and I appreciate it so much. I'd love to know what card or die was your favorite today, so please let me know in the comments as well. And before I wrap up, a quick thank you to my channel members. You'll see a QR code on screen if you'd like to join, or you can click the join button below to check out the perks. It's only $4 a month and you get really fun extras like early video access, members only polls, and free printable sentiment sheets each month. I also want to say a big thank you and hug to Estella, Betty, Corinne, and Sin, who have supported me through Super Thanks and Buy Me a Coffee website recently. You really helped me to continue focusing on my card making channel, and your generosity and kindness is so appreciated. I'll pop another video on screen here if you'd like more inspiration and ideas, but that's it from me today. Thank you again for watching. Happy crafting and bye for now.